guys, it's Kat. Again, we're doing a different kind of video today. I have another video on Zoe the Groomer coming in either tonight or tomorrow. Not quite sure, but there was a whole thing with my iMovie setup where it wasn't letting me edit it on my computer, but we got that figured out today. So we're gonna have that video out probably tonight or tomorrow. We'll find out. So yesterday, I got my head tattooed. It was an interesting experience. I'm going to be sharing my experience today, talking about the tattoo and all that fun stuff, in case any of you are curious or any of you are maybe thinking of getting your head tattooed. So let's get into it. The tattoo that I ended up getting like a full color peacock feather on the side of my head. I'm going to flash a picture of it up on the screen in the next couple seconds. I'm not going to show it to you right now. It's hiding under this hat because it has the Sanoderm on it still, and it's pretty gross under there. It's been less than 24 hours, and when I shower later tonight, I'm going to take the Sanoderm off, wash it, put some nice unscented lotion on it, and then let that dry. And the tattoo artist gave me another piece of Sanoderm to put on there. That's not what it's called. It's called Recovery Derm. I'm sorry, Sanoderm is just the one that I know. It's called Recovery Derm, but it essentially does the same thing. It's a tattoo bandage. So I'm going to take off the bandage that I have right now, wash the tattoo, and then I'm going to put another bandage on it later, but I'm going to need a hand, so I'm going to have my boyfriend help me with it when he's done with work. There's an interesting story behind this tattoo. I wanted to get a tattoo for my mom. I have now 14 tattoos. I had 13 before this. And my parents, ever since I moved out, have become a lot more accepting of my tattoos. My mom way more than my dad. My dad does not like people with tattoos. He feels like, I remember one time we were out at like a bar restaurant and our waitress was heavily tattooed and he went on like a tirade about how horrible he felt for her. My dad is not a fan of my tattoos, but I'm also his daughter, so he's not going to disown me for getting a tattoo. But my mom has become way more accepting of it. And because, I love my mom, I wanted to get a tattoo for her. Originally, what I wanted to do was get her favorite flower, or a flower that I associate with her. I asked her what her favorite flower was, and she said daisies. And I was like, okay, that's a cute idea, but I don't associate that with you. The flower that I do associate the most with my mom is a rose because she loves using rose lotion and rose scented products. But also a rose is such a generic tattoo idea. I wanted to do something different. And we go for like nature walks a lot. We go nature parks. We go to the zoo a lot just to spend time outside. My mom and I both really like spending time outside. And whenever we do, especially in the summer, we see peacocks everywhere. And my mom loves them. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I've done peacock hair before. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a peacock feather. And I was planning originally to put it like right here, have it start here, and then blossom across. I usually don't get tattooed. Like recently I got my Trident tattoo. That was about a month ago. But usually I do not go in and get tattooed unless I have extra money to spend outside of the money that I make from work. I put that money to things like snacks, groceries, gas, all that other stuff. I don't really treat myself too often unless I have like an extra $100 or something. And I have a friend, their name is Tyler. They run a small business called Chain Reactions. I posted about it on my Instagram. If all the information is there if you want to get into it. But they make bracelets and stuff like this out of chainmail armor. And I do not like brand ambassador stuff, but I take portfolio photos for them. I get my makeup to match. I use my nice camera. I do like modeling stuff for them and for their brand. And they pay me $100, like $80 to $100 every single time I do this whenever they come out with new products. So that's where the money came from. So that $100, and then I got my tax return. So that's a good amount of money, and then my paycheck on top of that. So I had a decent amount of money to spend. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get this tattoo this week. And then I had this dream. And in the dream, I was getting my peacock tattoo done, but it was on the side of my head. and it was done by a friend of mine who is an amazing tattoo artist. I'm gonna mention him as the story goes on. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, that's actually a cool idea. Let's put it on my head, which was kind of an impulsive decision, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna put it on the side that covers your hair. And then that morning, because my undercut was getting really long, my clippers broke. So I was only able to shave almost all the way down to the skin. And I was like, it's a sign, like you gotta do this. So I hit up my regular tattoo guy. I put regular in quotes because I go to a bunch of different people, but this is the person that I've been to the most. And he was like, I don't have any openings until the end of the month. And I'm like, okay, fucking great. I am going to end up spending my tax money and all that other shit on stuff that I don't need before then. So I want to get this tattoo as quickly as possible so I don't impulsively spend my tattoo money. I know a lot of people that are tattoo artists. I am like acquaintances or maybe even friends with a lot of people that are tattoo artists. But I have one friend, his name is Kobe. I haven't seen him in a while, but he's the only person that I guess I'm closest to out of all my friends that are tattoo artists that would be willing to tattoo my head. So I hit him up right away and I was like, hey, do you have any openings? And this was on Friday. And he was like, I have an opening on Sunday. You want to do that? And I'm like, sure. His Instagram, if anybody is interested, if you're in the Michigan area, I'll put it on the screen right here. Amazing tattoo artist, by the way. I will explain my experience and how I guess learned that, even though it was kind of a given from his work, but we're going to get into that. I go into this tattoo thinking that it is going to be the most painful thing I'm ever going to be through. My tattoo artist friends were telling me, are you sure you're ready for this? Like, all the tattoos you have are like on your arms and legs. You have like one on your sternum. Like, it's no sternum tattoo. What are you doing? Are you sure you're ready for this? I don't think you're going to be able to get through this. And so I was like, okay, I know that if I cancel, I'm going to have to put down a deposit, and I don't want to disappoint anybody, and I really want this. So fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I go in and I am terrified. We get everything set up and everybody's kind of like, oh, are you sure you want to do this? Like, are you sure you're ready for this? This is going to be intense. I am terrified. I have a stress ball that's shaped like a brain. I'm sitting there like, as he's placing the stencil and all this other stuff. Originally, I wanted it much smaller, but then he told me, if you want to pack in all this detail and color, we're going to have to go a lot bigger. And I was like, you know what? You're the artist. Honestly, I don't really care what you do. As long as you put it on a part of my head that my hair will grow over, as long as it's not coming onto my face, I don't care. You can go ahead and do whatever you want, whatever you think is best. Pun intended, in the back of my head, I knew that I wanted this tattoo to be big. I just didn't want to tell anybody, like my parents or my boyfriend, that I wanted it so big, because they were both concerned for my future, even though this is going to be a tattoo that's going to be very easy to hide. So when I heard that, hey, we're going to have to go big, the little person in the back of my mind was like, fuck yeah, go big or go home. And so I was really excited. We got the stencil laid. I laid down on the table and it was time to get going. Truthfully, I don't really know how long I sat for. I know it was like 2-3 hours. My appointment time was at 4:30 and I was out of the building at like 8:25. So I'm not exactly sure how long I sat for, because I know the setup and everything took a little bit of time. So I imagine actually getting the tattoo took maybe about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. I really did not want to be that person, because I know tattoo artists do not like it when you're sitting through a tattoo and you're like, no, this doesn't hurt. No, it didn't hurt. But truthfully, it was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. After getting tattooed so many times within the past year, I've realized that tattoo pain is pretty much exactly the same on most areas of your body. It's just more intense depending on where you decide to put the tattoo. Of course, tattoo pain is different for everybody, and I'm just speaking from my own experience here. But in my own experience, getting a tattoo is like if you have a sunburn and somebody's cat scratched that sunburn. It's like a scratching, burning sensation. But I do pretty well with external pain more than I do with internal pain. For example, the worst pain I ever felt was when I was in the emergency room back in July. and I had to have an IV. My nurse was not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and she put the IV in, missed my vein entirely, so all the fluid was just filling up right here. It looked like I had a growth. That was extremely painful, and that was the only time I ever felt like I was going to throw up or get dizzy because of pain, so that was horrible. I do better with external pain than I do with internal pain. That said, we sit down, we're doing the line work. I will say the back of my ear, I thought it was going to be the other way around because it starts up here and curves around the back of my ear. Around back here, especially with packing the color in, that didn't feel good. Back of the ear definitely hurt worse than the top part of my head here. But overall, it was the same feeling as any other tattoo that I've gotten. It was just a lot more amplified in that area, but because I already knew the feeling, that made it a lot easier. Before we really started packing color into this thing, especially near the top, my guy told me, hey, I have this numbing spray. You're going to want it. I'm going to spray it on your head. You are going to murder me if I don't do this for you, so I'm gonna do it. And I just agreed, like, okay, if you think it's better, then go ahead. I don't really know if I'm gonna need it, but go ahead. He sprays my head with this shit. That numbing spray, before it actually like kicked in and worked, that burned more than the actual tattoo. When I got the numbing spray put on, especially because, you know, a tattoo is an open wound and we'd already had all the line work done, that shit hurt. I don't know if any of you have ever had numbing spray sprayed on in the middle of a tattoo before continuing. It didn't feel good. It really burned. I thought that the feeling of the numbing spray was what the tattoo was going to feel like. It hurt worse than actually getting the tattoo. So that fucking sucked, but it subsided quickly and we got the tattoo finished. Everybody loved it. It was my guy's first head tattoo, but he has a very soft and steady hand, more so than the other people that I've been to. Really great at packing color. He does a lot of like bright cartoony stuff, so I already knew that the color was going to look great. But you know, it was a fun experience. The machine that he was using was also not very loud, so that was also comforting to not have the noise in my ear. But overall, the experience of actually getting the tattoo, obviously it was painful. It's a tattoo, but it was not that bad. I was surprised I was able to sit through it, and so was my tattoo artist. He's like, I didn't think, like, you're a badass for this. You know you a badass for this, right? Like, I didn't think we were going to make it this far. And I was like, I didn't think we were going to make it this far either, but we're fucking doing it. Yeah, I did the damn thing, and now my cocky ass is going to be like, I've had my head tattooed. Now I want a 24-hour rib piece. Don't do that. Don't be like me. So yeah, the process of actually getting the tattoo wasn't that bad, and now it's been almost 24 hours since I've had the tattoo, and to not sleep on this thing was an absolute nightmare, especially because I'm sharing a bed with another person, so I have limited space, and I'm trying so hard to not flip over onto this side. That was a nightmare. And then this morning, after my boyfriend had gotten up and gone to work, he works from home because of the panorama, I rolled over to his side of the bed, and I was like resting my head on this side, but I had it like this so that I was laying like this, so the actual tattoo wasn't like touching the pillow, or there wasn't too much pressure being put on it or anything like that, because I don't know if I can fuck it up. I've never had my head tattooed before. So I'm sitting there, I go back to sleep, I wake up, and there's all this nasty shit leaking out of my bandage and onto the back of my ear and onto my neck. It's nasty under there. I knew that there was going to be a lot of fluid with it, but I think that just because it's on an area that like points downward most of the time, like when I got my trident done, it got pretty icky under the bandage, but it stayed concealed in the bandage because my arm isn't flying around constantly. It's pretty, but because the shape of this tattoo is like a curve and the gravity is pulling the liquid down, so it leaked out onto my ear and onto the back of my neck and all over our tan bed sheets. So that wasn't fun. It's pretty disgusting under there. But overall, it's not too sore. Obviously, it's still sore to like touch it. I'm not touching it. The hat is to help me not touch it. But it's pretty okay right now. I'm still trying not to lay on it or anything like that. And later today when my boyfriend gets off work, I'm going to have him help me change the bandage and all that other fun stuff. So I will probably do another update in about a week. And I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, have a good day or night or whatever, wherever you are.